April 1st, 2008. Time is running short for one of the town's iconic landmarks. Within a few short months, one of the symbols of our community will be no more. We are, of course, talking about the dummy, the traffic dummy that has been in the middle of Reading Square as long as even our oldest residents can remember, silently guiding travelers as they make their way from Stoneham, Boston, New York, and even Philadelphia to points unknown to the north. It has stoically sat amidst traffic jams, survived bouts with snowplows, been the subject of ridicule, scorn, and yes, even disgruntled motorists. With its red, yellow, and green, and even red and yellow signals, it has silently done its duty. A glimmer of hope appears on the horizon, though. Today, a group of concerned citizens has formed to save the dummy. These activists are staging rallies, making public appearances, and even wearing buttons to show their solidarity. Here to tell us a little of the history of the traffic dummy is one of our town historians.
I'd like to say thank you for inviting me down to represent the history of the famous traffic light here in Reading, sometimes called the dummy. It made its debut here in the Reading scene about 1870. Probably about 150 years before the Common was established. So it's been here a long time, and it was designed by the famous architect and sculptor Godin, and brought here on the L'Étoile de Marseille under the supervision of Godin. So it was pretty important. It was placed in the square under a very, very lavish ceremony, probably none to match it ever here in Reading. The situation was that the buildings were all bunted out with red, white, and blue banners. The flags of American and French were on the telegraph poles because the telephone wasn't even here yet before that light was here. The Star Spangled Banner was playing, and the French national anthem was playing, and everybody was having a great time. Horace Greeley was the keynote speaker. And he had run an unsuccessful campaign for President of the United States, and he would lay the cornerstone and gave a very rousing speech. The highlight of that speech was about the attachment of the lights. And if I could quote him, it said, he would allow every young man to go west, east, north, and south. As we know, part of this speech has been greatly misquoted over the years. Some feel that the dummy was modeled after the Ampel von Cologne of Cologne, Germany. And there are many, many similarities. But in actuality, it's the proliferation of the dummy that has really brought the world-renowned recognition to Reading. There are large and small examples of that, one of which is located at Red Square in Moscow, one which is located at the Circo Parish in Madrid, and of course there was one in the London Piccadilly intersection, which after World War II became the Piccadilly Rotary. We know it as the Piccadilly Circus. The city of New York, of course, New York does not want to be outdone by a little town north of Boston. So what happens is New York commissions Godin to build their monument. The interesting thing about that is that they had only two requests. Number one is it be larger, and number two, that the lighting be different. Instead of electric lighting, they would want it as a torch. The dummy added to its luster when radio announcer Edward R. Murrow broadcast his nightly reports from the spot. He made an autobiography at some particular point at which he noted that his nerves of steel were created in Reading, Mass. At the foot of a dummy. He went on to be the famed war correspondent that we know him to be. I guess there's just one more thing that we're particularly interested in. We love our dummy, we love the traffic light. We're very much interested in a poem, Ode de la Dummy, that was written by Walter Pritchard Eaton. If anybody has a copy, could they please get it to us? We'd love to have that in our history.
Interviews from around town are mixed, but do not lack strong feelings. Here is just a sample.
Nothing says Reading like the dummy in the square. It serves so many purposes. I know when friends are going to come visit, I tell them, you just come up the road till you get to the dummy, and you turn there. You can't miss it.
I think we should have the little booth out there again with the traffic officer in it, directing traffic. Bring everybody back together again. like it used to be.
Saving the dummy? You're getting rid of the dummy? Do you know how many times I hit that as a teenager driving downtown? It's a monument to my bad driving. I'm distraught.
I know my kids, when they were learning to drive, at first were terrified of the dummy. Wouldn't turn left there if they had to.
When I first learned to drive, I was scared of the dummy. There was just something about the keep right and the big cement thing in the middle of the road, and there are 7 lights on it, but once I could figure out how to drive around the dummy, I mean, I could probably drive anywhere. I could probably drive, downtown Boston, because once you have conquered the dummy, you can do anything.
Well, there's been a lot of options, but one thing we could think of is give it back to the French.
I wonder how much we can get for it on eBay.
I'm a town meeting member, and I don't recall this coming up on the warrant at all. I think it's too late to close the warrant for this session, but I think we should call a special town meeting to resolve this. We haven't discussed it nearly enough.
If you're coming back from a long trip and you come up the hill there, you see the dummy, you know you're home. A solid, dependable thing that's been there as long as Reading has been here. I can't fathom that anyone would ever want to get rid of the dummy.
One of the problems I see with America today is the loss of traditional American values. And I feel that the loss of the dummy is an illustration of the loss of American values. When the dummy is taken away from us, it'll cause us to realize all it is that we've lost, all it is that isn't there anymore, all it is that used to make America America is gone, and we won't see it again. So let's save the dummy.
Much has gone into the planning for the new downtown. Sewer and gas lines need to be moved. New light fixtures will be installed. Benches will be scattered throughout the area. We asked a town official if thought has been given to where else the dummy might be moved to.
Well, the traffic dummy is really a historical item in the town. I mean, when we came here in 1972 and we were coming from out of state, I mean, I saw it and I thought, this is so quaint. And so, part of the downtown improvements is to get rid of it, but in a way, we really should be thinking about how we could preserve it. And maybe the Historical Commission is going to want to take a stand on the dummy. I mean, it certainly needs some paint and maybe a little straightening, but I think we should do something with it.
Hi, my name is Carl McFadden, and I've been asked by Peter Heckenlechner, the town manager, to set up a 501c3, which we've done, to save the town dummy. This has been a very instrumental part of Reading's history. There have been thousands of accidents here on the Common that the dummy has been responsible for. And we feel as though, under the leadership of the town manager, we've been able to save the dummy. And in order to do that, we need your help, citizens of the town of Reading.
We could put it up on the town common and maybe, have the garden club do a garden around it. Someone could adopt an island and, we could probably resurrect it to look like it used to.
Would you tear down the Eiffel Tower? Would you tear down Bunker Hill?
Despite the strong feelings of many Readingites, it appears as though nothing can be done to save the dummy. Progress is progress. No more will our community observe the quaint tradition where cars from every direction have the right of way at the same time. No longer will the slightly crooked light pole be silhouetted against the sunrise over CVS. No more will we see the bemused look of strangers as they drive through the square and try to determine which direction has the red light and which does not. Never again will we hear the melodic sound of auto horns as they gently remind those in front of them that they indeed have the green arrow, even if it means darting out in front of the oncoming Route 28 traffic. There is one consolation, however. Even as we lose this generous gift from our good friends in France, it may be replaced with another present from another far-off nation. It has been rumored that the MWRA, in honor of its move into Reading, has come to the rescue. If indeed we lose the dummy, that organization has made arrangements with an undisclosed third world country to make a magnanimous gift to Reading, a new symbol for a new century, to be placed very near the entrance to town at the Stoneham line. If the stories are correct, we will receive not just one, but a pair of sculptures placed side by side in the shape of mushroom clouds, standing guard over our little hamlet. As the song says, You are a revelation, an old friend to be saved. Reading traffic dummy, relic of golden days.
Approaching from Low Street, I'm easily confused. The bright lights and the traffic are calling me to you. Reaching Old Yellow Island, should I stop or should I go? The light tells me it's okay, but I never really know. Old Yellow, here's to Old Yellow. Pray for Old Yellow, let's save Old Yellow. Yellow traffic dummy, we all must swerve around. If you weren't made of concrete, I'd lift you off the ground. You are a revelation, an old friend to be saved. Reading traffic dummy, relic of golden days. Old Yellow, here's to Old Yellow. Pray for Old Yellow, let's save Old Yellow. Let's save Old Yellow, let's save Old Yellow. Let's save Old Yellow, let's save Old Yellow. Let's save Old Yellow, let's save Old Yellow.
We're making a mockumentary. It's an April Fool's thing for RCTV about saving the traffic light on the square.
My whole family wants it gone.
Oh, everybody does.
Okay, all right.
But wait,
Okay.
it's all, we've made up this whole story
Okay.
about how
It's
it's
going to be
public.
groundswell of support,
Okay.
though.
That's one danger is we might save this stupid thing.